So the series likes to show us flashes from the main character's point of view in his past life, just like how it shows the male lead's point of view from the past life. And this time it's showing how the main character went down the path of using the forbidden techniques and how he learned how to use one of the forbidden techniques and slowly learned how to use the other ones. Like, it's showing us flashes and how he started at first testing it on his fellow disciples, but because the male lead had figured out someone's using that technique, had snuck in to the forbidden library and got hold of the forbidden techniques, he had to stop using it on his fellow disciples so obviously that he started going and finding corpses and using the corpses and practicing on the corpses. He also got his little cousin involved. He got the heavenly darling involved. He's not only just testing it on his fellow disciples, he used his little cousin, his innocent, pure little cousin. So he's trying to figure out how many chess pieces he needs to make for his technique, how he can control everybody in his sack, in his peak, and he's having a hard time doing the math. Well, his little cousin's pretty good at using math because he had to help his mom with her medicine, so he's kind of pretty good at it. And unknowingly, he's lied to and tricked into believing the main character just wants to get candy for everybody for the anniversary of their sex, so he helps him. He helps him know how many pieces of chess he needs for his technique to control everyone in their sack. And it's just because of this moment, the main character decided he wasn't going to control his own cousin, that he wasn't going to turn him into a puppet too. Like, how wicked are you to do this to a sack that took you in, raised you, and treated you well, and only to betray all of them? I know it's the flower inside of him, you know, controlling him, manipulating him, but still, it's only this little moment that kept him from harming his own cousin, his sweet, precious baby cousin. Like, how horrible of a person can you be? So, in the flashes from the past, it does show him and the male lead confronting each other about the technique and how the male lead assuming there's someone in their sack using the technique or has plans and intentions of using the technique, and he warns the main character to be careful, to be safe. And the main character's like, oh, now you're caring about people's lives. You're actually caring about if someone dies. So I guess it was a good thing the white moonlight died, because you wouldn't have cared about someone's own safety and life. Like, he's full on showing a homatic, lunatic moment. And this is freaking out the male lead. And he's even questioning if he should tell the truth about what happened that day when the white moonlight died. He should, like, trying to figure out if he should tell the truth. But he keeps himself from telling the truth. While the main character is berating him, saying all these horrible, vile things to him, he refuses to tell the truth because he doesn't want to be called a liar, a full-on liar. And I'm like, honey, just at least tell the truth. At least attempt to tell the truth. Put your pride down and tell him the truth. Like, maybe he will hear you out and listen to you. No, he don't. He doesn't even attempt to try telling him and explaining to him what happened to that day, how he could have died just like the white moonlight, how he was putting more work into what was going on because he was more powerful converter than the white moonlight. The white moonlight was not strong enough of a converter to survive the events. I mean, the main character wasn't strong enough to survive it. Like, he was barely strong enough to survive. The male lead literally had to sacrifice himself for the main character. There was no way the white moonlight would have survived that. Like, but no, he doesn't try telling the main character the truth at all. But honestly, with the way the main character's attitude was, there was no way the main character would have listened to him at the time. But at least he could have attempted to. I know the forbidden techniques are forbidden because they're cruel and horrible techniques. Just like in Harry Potter, the forbidden curses are forbidden because they do horrible, vile things. But I think it is also forbidden for what it does to the person committing the techniques. Like, you turn 180 to what you are like. You become more depressed, you become more gloomy, you become more cruel, you can become more hateful. Like, you just become a horrible, vile person using that technique. Like, this is my belief of what it does to you. And I feel like it reminds me of the main character, when he was doing the demonic convention, yes, he still does it in the rest of the series, but it worsened his mental health and physical health before, like the 13 years prior of the series. It worsened his mental and physical health. And you're like, but that's what everything he was going through. That's why he was depressed and going down the, dark path. It was because of how everyone treated him, and he was depressed and everything he went through. Yes, those things were also affecting him and worsening his health, mental health. But like, he was also getting emo-like and gloomy-like before everyone turned against him. Before the other clans decided to sink their teeth into him. Like, that was before. Like, we see that. We full on see it. Like, he is full on not doing his sack duties, his head disciple duties, not doing his duties as right-hand man to his brother. When he was still in his sack, still his brother's right-hand man, he was spending his days drinking it away. Like, he wasn't even at his sack. He would be at some sort of like tavern or restaurant drinking. Like, the male lead would find him there and repeatedly try to convince him to come back and, get help. Literally get help. And he would just repeatedly refuse the male lead. Like, it was already proof that the demonic convention path does not do a person great mentally or physically. Also, I don't think any person with, like, I love the main character. He's a good person, and he's probably the only person that's an actual good person that uses this convention path, these convention techniques, because everybody else we see use these techniques are not good people. They're horrible people. Like the Two-Faced Snake, the main villain of the series. The freaking little gremlin who killed the main character's Marshall uncle, the Marshall uncle's friend, and the blind girl, the fake blind girl. Like, literally killed all three of them. Literally drove the blind guy to suicide. Like, this man was horrible. The only people outside of the main character we see use demonic convention are literally horrible people. And so the way the main character in demonic convention went down mentally I'm reminded of. Like, I am horribly reminded of when reading about the main character in this using the forbidden techniques.